Are you tired of all the excuses? When talking to business leaders, one of the most common themes I hear about is what they perceive as a lack of accountability in their workforce. The most common complaint is the proliferation of excuses that they hear on a daily basis. Well, the good news is that there is a fairly easy way to teach your team how to make fewer excuses. Now, the reality of the accountability situation is that this lack of accountability is unfortunately often taught, or at least unintentionally encouraged, by the conversations we have with our teams. A few simple shifts in how you and your managers lead conversations can have a dramatic improvement in accountability and decrease the tendency to give and the number of excuses that your team gives you. Now, when it comes to managing teams, there are two categories of questions that have this impact. There are backward-looking questions that lead to more excuses and less accountability. And then there are forward-looking questions that lead to fewer excuses and more accountability. So let's look at backward-looking questions. Now, if you find yourself asking questions like, what happened, or who did it, or how did that happen, you are asking questions that require looking back in time. And in situations where there was a negative outcome, the majority of your team, people, are going to answer in ways that do not implicate themselves. So they either make excuses if they can, or blame someone else in that last-ditch effort to avoid getting in trouble. You are unintentionally encouraging people to give excuses so they don't get in trouble. You created this monster. So forward-looking questions. If instead you focused on the future, asking questions about what needs to be done to resolve the issue, you keep people from feeling the need to defend their actions or inactions. Follow-on questions can be similar to, so when can you commit to having that done? And do you have everything you need to get it done by then? Once things are in motion to resolve the issues without blame, you can then start asking a different type of backward-looking question, what we call the excuse-eliminating questions, which work now because the problem has been recognized and a solution approved, so there's less emotion remaining in talking about the what happened. So let's look at excuse-eliminating questions. These questions can now be asked when the emotions and tensions, the temperature, are significantly lowered and are both probing and teaching questions. I try to start with a question that assumes that the system or process is to blame, then move on to questions that bring up concepts of responsibility and accountability in these situations. Questions can start with, so what part of the process allowed this to happen? That can then be followed up with, so when did you realize something was wrong or going to be late? This teaches the team that you expect them to notice these things. And then you follow up with that next best teaching question that I really love. So what do you think I want you to do when you realize this is happening? And then you stay quiet. At this point, there is only one answer. Tell someone. And as soon as it leaves their mouth, you've eliminated a whole class of excuses because now they've admitted they know they were supposed to notice and tell someone. Now, if you'd like to learn more about how you can eliminate all of the top 3 negative behaviors in your business, which are blame, excuses, and denial, go ahead and click on the link in the description to schedule a quick 15-20 minute chat with me to learn how.